When John first walked into my clinic, he couldn't even tie his own shoes. At 73, this proud Vietnam veteran who once carried wounded comrades through jungle terrain could barely make it from his car to my office door. "Doc," he told me that day, his voice breaking slightly, "I thought my golden years were over. The pain. It's stolen everything." What happened next changed not only John's life, but reshaped my understanding of what's possible when ancient wisdom meets modern need. His journey from debilitating pain to reclaiming his independence wasn't just remarkable. It offers hope for the countless seniors who have been told to simply live with it when conventional treatments fall short. You know, I've been practicing acupuncture for over 20 years now, and I've seen thousands of patients come through my doors. But there's something special about helping our veterans, the men and women who have given so much for our country. John's story stands out because it represents what I see happening every day. People discovering there are options they never knew existed. Let me take you back to when John first arrived. He shuffled in, leaning heavily on a cane, his face etched with the kind of pain that becomes a constant. Companion. After 2 tours in Vietnam, decades as a construction foreman, and what he called the usual abuse a guy puts his body through, John's body was essentially rebelling against him. 3 back surgeries, chronic shoulder pain, arthritis in both knees, and the lingering effects of an old shrapnel injury had left him dependent on a cocktail of medications that, in his words, made me feel like a zombie without actually killing the pain. When his daughter first suggested acupuncture, he laughed it off. "I'm a Midwest boy," he told me. "We take pills when the doctor says so, and we tough it out." Period. But after his doctor told him there was nothing more they could do except increase his pain medication that was already causing digestive issues and making him feel disconnected from his grandkids, he decided he had nothing to lose. That first session, I remember John was skeptical, nervous even. "You're gonna stick needles in me." "Haven't I been through enough?" he joked, but I could see the desperation behind his humor. Like many veterans, John had developed a high tolerance for discomfort, but also a deep distrust of treatments outside conventional medicine. What many people don't realize about acupuncture is that it's not some new age fad. It's a sophisticated medical system that's been refined over thousands of years. The needles we use are nothing like the ones you might associate with blood draws or vaccinations. They're hair-thin, and many patients don't even feel them once they're placed. For John, I focused initially on his most debilitating pain points, his lower back and right knee. I explained how acupuncture works from both Eastern and Western perspectives, how traditional Chinese medicine sees it as balancing energy flow through pathways called meridians, while Western research shows it triggers the release of natural pain-relieving compounds, reduces inflammation, and promotes tissue healing. After that first treatment, John didn't experience a miracle. And that's important to note. Acupuncture typically isn't a one-and-done solution, especially for chronic, complex pain that's been building for decades. But he did notice something that made him curious enough to return. For about 3 hours after the treatment, his knee pain diminished enough that he could walk to the bathroom without wincing. "It wasn't much," he told me later, but it was the first time in 5 years something actually seemed to touch the pain directly, rather than just fog my brain enough to ignore it. By his 3rd session, the pain relief was lasting longer, a full day after treatment. By his 6th session, we were addressing not just his pain, but the anxiety and sleep disturbances that had become part of his daily existence. This is another aspect of acupuncture that surprises many patients. Its effects often extend beyond the primary complaint. One day, about 2 months into his treatment plan, John arrived with tears in his eyes. I immediately thought something was wrong, but he was smiling. "I played catch with my grandson yesterday," he said. "Just for 10 minutes, but I haven't been able to do that in years." That moment, that simple act of playing catch, represented everything John had been fighting for. Not just pain relief, but the ability to participate in life again. What I find particularly valuable about John's experience is how it demonstrates the comprehensive nature of acupuncture's benefits for seniors. We're not just treating isolated symptoms, we're supporting the body's natural healing mechanisms at a time when they might need extra help. For instance, many of my older patients are concerned about the side effects and interactions of multiple medications. John was taking 6 different prescriptions when he first came to see me. Working in conjunction with his primary doctor, he was eventually able to reduce that number to 3, with lower dosages on 2 of them. This isn't unusual. Research has shown that acupuncture can help reduce the need for pain medications, including opioids, which carry particular risks for seniors. Another key benefit for older adults is improved mobility and balance. Falls represent a serious health risk for seniors, often leading to a cascade of complications. As John's pain decreased and he relied less on his cane, he noticed his balance improving. This wasn't just about comfort, it was about safety and independence. Sleep quality is another area where many seniors struggle, and it's directly connected to pain levels. John had been averaging about 4 broken hours of sleep per night when we started. The constant pain would wake him, and then anxiety about the pain would keep him awake. By incorporating specific acupuncture points known to address sleep and adding some simple self-care techniques he could do at home, John gradually began sleeping 5, then 6 hours consistently. "It's not just that I'm in less pain," John explained during one session. "It's that I feel more like myself again. The brain fog from the medications is lifting. I can actually taste food again. I'm present for conversations with my wife instead of just nodding along." This cognitive clarity is something many seniors value enormously. The mental sharpness that can diminish with age is often further compromised by pain and medication side effects. Acupuncture's ability to reduce pain while potentially improving mental clarity represents a significant quality of life improvement. Now, I want to be clear about something. Acupuncture isn't magic, and it isn't appropriate as the sole treatment for every condition. John still needed his blood pressure medication. He still benefited from targeted physical therapy exercises. What acupuncture provided was a complementary approach that addressed areas where conventional treatments alone weren't sufficient. This integrated approach is where healthcare is heading, and for good reason. Research increasingly supports what practitioners have observed for years. Combining the best of conventional medicine with evidence-based complementary approaches often yields better outcomes than either approach alone. For veterans like John, there's another dimension to acupuncture that's worth mentioning. Many carry not just physical wounds, but emotional ones. While acupuncture isn't a replacement for psychological treatment for conditions like PTSD, many veterans report that the deep relaxation they experience during and after treatment helps ease anxiety and creates a sense of calm that's otherwise elusive. There's something about lying there, just breathing, while the needles do their work, John told me once. It's the only time my mind really quiets down. I'm not rehashing the past or worrying about the future. I'm just present. This mind-body connection is central to acupuncture's approach. Unlike treatments that separate physical symptoms from emotional states, acupuncture recognizes their interconnection. Points that address physical pain may simultaneously calm the nervous system. This holistic perspective is particularly valuable for seniors dealing with the complex interplay of chronic pain, life transitions, and sometimes isolation. 6 months after John started treatment, he walked into my office without his cane. It wasn't that he never had pain anymore. He did, particularly on rainy days or after pushing himself too hard. But the pain no longer controlled his life. He had strategies to manage it, including monthly maintenance acupuncture sessions, simple qigong exercises I'd taught him, and occasional use of pain medication when truly needed. "I thought my golden years were over," he repeated, echoing his words from that first visit. "But they were just waiting for me to find a different path." What's particularly encouraging about John's experience is that it's not unusual. A 2018 systematic review published in the Journal of Pain found that acupuncture's effects on chronic pain conditions, including the types that commonly affect seniors like osteoarthritis, back pain, and shoulder pain, weren't just statistically significant but clinically relevant, meaning the improvements were substantial enough to meaningfully impact quality of life. For older adults specifically, research has shown acupuncture can be especially beneficial because it typically has minimal side effects when performed by a properly trained practitioner. This safety profile is crucial for seniors who may already be dealing with medication interactions or who have multiple health conditions that complicate treatment options. I've had the privilege of working with several senior living communities in our area, offering acupuncture as part of their wellness programs. What I've observed is that beyond individual pain relief, these programs create community. Seniors who participate often form bonds over their shared experiences, reducing the isolation that can contribute to both physical and mental health challenges. One particularly moving aspect of John's journey was how it rippled out to affect his entire family. His wife of 47 years told me that she felt like she'd gotten her husband back. His adult children no longer structured family gatherings around his pain levels. His grandchildren could hug him without causing winces of pain. Pain doesn't just happen to the person experiencing it, John reflected during one of our later sessions. It happens to everyone who loves them too. This insight gets at something fundamental about treating chronic pain in seniors. The benefits extend far beyond the individual. When an older adult regains functionality and experiences less pain, entire family systems feel the positive impact. Caregivers experience less strain. Relationships improve when they're not constantly overshadowed by pain management concerns. For those considering acupuncture, especially seniors who may be skeptical or nervous about trying something unfamiliar, John's advice is straightforward. Ask questions. Lots of them. Find someone who takes the time to explain things in ways that make sense to you. And give it more than one try. My biggest results came after I'd been going for a while. That's excellent advice. Acupuncture, like many complementary approaches, often works cumulatively. Initial treatments begin the process of restoring balance and promoting healing, while subsequent sessions build on that foundation. For chronic conditions that have developed over decades, patience with the healing process is important. It's also worth noting that acupuncture is increasingly covered by insurance plans, including some Medicare Advantage plans, making it more accessible to seniors than in the past. The Veterans Administration has been particularly progressive in this regard, offering acupuncture at many VA facilities nationwide in recognition of its effectiveness for pain management and other conditions common among veterans. John continues to come for monthly maintenance treatments. Some of his fellow veterans, intrigued by his transformation, have become patients as well. He jokes that they've formed an unofficial Acupuncture Veterans Club, comparing notes on their progress and encouraging each other through the healing process. As we wrap up John's story, I think it's important to emphasize that what happened for him isn't exceptional in the sense of being rare. It's exceptional in that it represents what's possible when we expand our thinking about pain management for seniors. The golden years should be exactly that, golden. Not dominated by pain, medication side effects, and progressive loss of function. What acupuncture offered John, and what it offers many seniors, is a chance to reclaim aspects of life that seemed permanently lost. If you're struggling with chronic pain, or if you're caring for an older loved one who is, consider exploring acupuncture as part of a comprehensive approach. Talk to your doctor about how it might complement your current treatments. Research practitioners in your area who have experience working with seniors and veterans. And remember John's words, "I thought my golden years were over. But they were just waiting for me to find a different path." There may be a different path for you too, one with less pain and more possibility. One where ancient wisdom and modern need meet to create something truly healing. Thanks for listening to John's story. If you found it valuable, please share it with someone who might benefit from hearing about alternatives for pain management. And if you're interested in learning more about evidence-based complementary approaches for senior health, subscribe to our channel for weekly videos exploring everything from acupuncture to Tai Chi to nutrition for healthy aging. Until next time, this is Dr. Sarah from Evidence-Based Alternatives, wishing you health, comfort, and golden years that truly shine.